songs about a rambling man. Put a cold one in my hand. 'Cause you know I love to hear those guitar sounds. But don't you play, I'm so lonesome.
Howdy, baseball fans, and welcome to another version of Cold Beers and Curveballs. Episode 10, changing things up. This Corey's a little whiskey bent and hell bound, so we're going to drop some Hank Williams Jr. So I am Chase Almy.
Across from here, it's Corey Stevens.
And so we've got a lot to cover today. We've got an 8-game winning streak to cover on the AL West side. We've got some other big news going on in the world of baseball, and just a lot of news here and there that we're going to cover. So Corey went to a ball game. Which one was it that you went to?
Friday night, Oakland A's. I don't remember if it was first or second game of that series, but first game, I believe, yeah.
Is that the start of the winning streak?
No, they had won the night before with Napoli had a walk-off.
Oh, okay. So it's the second walk-off game?
Yep, it was good. I'll tell you about it later. We may have switched up our music, but we are the same two idiots giving you the baseball news.
We just felt like a song that talks about having a cold beer in your hand should definitely be one. Shout out there, though, to
Today is the Shiner Day.
To Shiner, yes, it's Shiner Bach Day. Also, give a shout out to our old buddy Danny. He was the one that really introduced us to using the word cold beer a lot. But let's move on and let's get into some big baseball news.
We're going around the MLB first?
We are going to go around the MLB,
Alright,
and we're not going to
save
go
all that juicy Rangers stuff. They're about to finish the game up.
We are going to get going on that, and we'll start off in the East with some interleague play. Was the Atlanta Braves and Toronto Blue Jays.
Braves are feeling like the Rangers were feeling last year, that the Blue Jays suck.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely. I don't think there's anybody except for people from Canada or just people
No,
who...
I think there's one person who thinks who thinks Jose Bautista is real cool, and that's Jose Bautista.
Yeah, I'm sure. And his stupid coach, what is it, Gibbons? Is that the manager's name? Like,
I know.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking chill.
All right, so tell us what happened last night.
So the benches were cleared twice during the...
No, the whole. Well, okay, fine. Get into the first part of it.
So the
You're right.
benches cleared twice last night for the game. So it was Wednesday night. They were up 8-3 in the bottom of the 8th, or the top of the 8th. Sorry. And Jose Bautista cranks out a solo home run, so it cuts that 5-run lead down to 4. And what does Jose Bautista decide to do? Flip his bat over into the
not
next
just a
count.
backflip. He pretty much chunked it at the opposing dugout.
Right. And
He's like, look at me, boom, that's so cool.
so yeah,
It is
he
stupid.
throws the bat like a fucking moron. Well, that didn't sit well with anybody because he said something as he was rounding second, and then Kurt Suzuki was there ready, kind of like
At home plate, like
yeah,
F you.
yeah, and it started. There was some conversation back and forth. No punches were thrown this time at him. Benches cleared. O'Flaherty, the pitcher.
For the Braves.
He's a reliever for the Braves. He was the one that they hit the home run off of. They talked to him after the game, and he said, surprised he was ready to fight again after last year, talking about the Rougned Odor incident. And I
Which
guess pretty
was
much,
almost exactly a year ago.
yeah. And I mean,
The
basically,
13th? Yeah, I think it
basically
was
just
13th.
saying that Bautista's a little bitch, and anybody who watches the game of
Well,
baseball,
it's like it's been a year plus of his antics where he decides that he's the biggest thing ever on the face of the earth, and I think a lot of different teams are getting tired of it.
yeah,
A lot of different players are like, personally they weren't affected. They weren't, part of the Rangers last year. But they see and they are just tired of it. I will give him a smidge of credit. It did seem like about 90 feet into his home run trot, he realized he done messed up and he was an idiot. And so he almost wanted to start apologizing to every single baseman. He almost slowed down and didn't complete his trot. And so I think some people were saying when he got home, he was saying, my bad. I mean, it was good for learning, but man.
but what do you expect?
When
This
you're
is a
truly
guy
an
that-
idiot, you know that you look like an idiot about 2 seconds after you just did what you did.
Right, and he's notorious for doing this, which most people would think, hey, this is what's going to be the big story of the day. Well, that wasn't, because the inning before that, benches cleared because Jason Mott struck out Kevin Pillar. Pillar, feeling like Mott quick pitched him, and Mott was kind of like, yeah, got you. Didn't really say much. There was a little bit of, you could see him like say like, come on. Well, Pillar didn't like that either, and this is where the real story of the game started. Mott and Pillar, they both kind of have some words. Right there at the top of the seventh, both benches clear. They get it settled out really well. Really, fairly, I mean, it wasn't really much. It was just kind of like people got in the way.
Yeah.
Just whatever. Well, social media got on it and started to look at it and started to watch and
They
started
just
to
like
post.
lip reading.
Yeah, it was like basically almost like bad lip
Okay.
reading, but it wasn't bad lip reading. And
Right.
the first clip I saw, I didn't really see what they were talking about, and then when I saw them slow it way down and really concentrate on Pillar's face, he called Mott the F word, not fuck, but the long F word that's used to describe homosexuals that has now been deemed insensitive and inappropriate.
Case, when has insensitive, when
When
has
is
sensitivity ever stopped you?
Exactly.
Why'd you stop there, huh?
And so
You don't want to be banned from iTunes?
No, I don't want to be banned from iTunes. I don't need fucking Pink making a speech about me. But so I mean, can
Hey,
I
we
say
could
it?
use some. We could use some publicity.
Okay, so
Bad publicity is good publicity for us.
So basically, okay, so Pillar called Mott a faggot, and you can't get away with that anymore with TV. And
Apparently you
so
can't.
after the game, Pillar kind of half-assed an apology. The apology basically read, yeah, I mean, obviously,
It
that
was
was the initial.
stupid, I'm
that was
sorry.
the initial thing. I was upset about it, and just think it stems from a little frustration in myself and just the way the series has been going. It was immature, it was stupid, it was uncalled for. He goes on to say that he was going to do everything he could to apologize to Mott, letting him know that it was not his fault, that it was all him. He just really wanted to keep things going after the homestand they had against Seattle. And it was all in the moment, and don't define this as him. Later on today, which is Thursday, Pillar admitted he did use the homophobic slur towards Mott, pending the MLB investigation that came into the matter. Pillar's new apology sounds a bit more put together by saying, last night, following my at-bat in the seventh inning, I used inappropriate language toward Braves pitcher
Blah, blah,
Jason
blah,
Mott.
blah, blah.
By doing so, I had just helped extend the use of the word that has no place in baseball and sports anywhere in society today. I am completely and utterly embarrassed and feel horrible to have put the organization in this position. I have apologized personally to Jason Mott, but also need to apologize to the Braves organization and their fans, and most importantly to the LGBTQ divided by 4
ABC,
community
EFG.
for the lack of respect I displayed last night. This is not who I am, and will use this as an opportunity to better myself. So, right there it sounded a little bit more put together instead of, I was mad, and so I used poor words because that's about the maturity level that we draft here in the
Oh, come on.
DJ's organization.
Everybody says it.
I mean,
Everybody talk.
Here's the deal. More than likely, he's going to be
99%
facing.
of the players.
He's going to be at
They
least
dumb
getting a
stuff.
fine. He'll face a possible suspension, and he'll have to take one of those self-betterment and sensitivity courses that they put him through. Basically, he's going to be sacrificed and become a martyr because 99% of the players
So
say
is he
the
going to be
same
Kaepernick?
shit. Pretty much.
He's not going to get signed next year?
Yeah. But this isn't the first Blue Jay that has to do all this. Yunel Escobar, who's with the Angels now, was with the Blue Jays back in 2012, and he had a homophobic phrase on his eye black.
Sure, you
And
thought that
it
was
was
real clever.
it was in Spanish, so he's like, nobody that can speak
Nobody
Spanish
will
watches
know that.
baseball, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. He ended up having to go to some class and had to be like a spokesperson for the LGBTQ movement
I'm
of
sure he was real happy.
Major League Baseball. Yeah, I mean when you're sitting there and you're gonna use the word, you probably have an issue towards people, unless you're just saying it in a way. I feel like this has also been a deal with Joakim Noah back when he was with the Bulls. He got caught calling a fan the same word. I was honestly surprised Kobe Bryant never got caught, because if that word hadn't been invented, he would have
wouldn't
lost
have had the
60,
vocabulary?
65% of his vocabulary on the court. I sat 3 rows
He-
off during a Lakers Thunder game, and he has the worst mouth I've ever heard in my life.
He's an intense guy.
But you know, it's definitely something that maybe they need to look into as an organization, that they hire a bunch of homophobes.
I thought
But yeah,
Canada wasn't like that.
definitely Yunel Escobar wore the eye black and it said "You're a faggot."
Look,
in
you know who
Spanish.
doesn't cuss?
You know, it's
We're moving on. I'm
It's
tired of this.
definitely does not have John 3:16 was on his eye black for sure, which is leading us into
Our God is greater, our God is stronger. God, you are higher than any.
This
little
show is
Tim-
going off the rails.
a little Tim Tebow news, guys. Tim Tebow news
Turn
brought
this
to you
down.
by his favorite singer, Chris Tomlin, which happens to actually be related to Josh Tomlin and the Cleveland Indians. So
That's
there's a little
wonderful.
bit of tidbit to you. But no, in Tim Tebow news, looking to get moved up to Double-A by the All-Star break.
So sometime soon, he's going to get rewarded for being an okay player.
He's basically going to do his Jose Canseco travel around the minor leagues.
So the
Tip
real
his
reason
little
he's
hat.
getting promoted is because the Mets can make more money by keeping him in the news and promoting him.
Yeah.
And if he goes up to Double-A, so apparently the Columbia Fireflies, that's who he plays for, attendance has gone up 100%, so doubled in all the road games. So when he goes to random little ballparks across America, playing for single A Mets organization, people come out to see him. So it's
Well, and I
he's
mean,
gonna keep
but-
riding that gravy train.
But look at this too, man. Like, he's a stand-up dude. He bought a mattress for the back of the team bus, so that
What?
I guess people can lay down on it and take a nap.
Well, that's just wonderful.
yeah. So one mattress,
He is probably 20 times
one
richer
mattress
than
for
anybody
53.
else on
For,
that.
yeah, one mattress for 53 dudes. He's definitely doing
He's
a lot.
promoting team unity,
He's
right?
definitely doing a lot more for the LGBT than Kevin Pillar is at the moment.
I
You know,
don't- I don't
53
think he
dudes
wants
on
it
one
to be-
mat. Yeah.
Pretty
And,
sure he
and
didn't want
everybody's
it to
like,
be
oh,
perceived
but
that way.
yeah, and then like everybody's like, oh, well, that's awfully nice of the millionaire that Tim Tebow is, and they're like, oh, well, he doesn't take naps on it. And I'm like, of course he doesn't, because he stays at a hotel that's not even a team hotel. He stays at the nicest,
Really?
Best
Yeah.
Western in the
The nicest, best way.
in South Carolina or North
Right.
Carolina or wherever he's
If
at.
you're in small town USA, there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot of.
Yeah, there's
fancy
he's not
Hiltons.
staying at the W or the Hilton or anything like that. But
Well, I mean, look,
definitely, I think also
we-
this might be something to look at with the fact that this type of news may take away from the real news at hand, which is the Mets injury and the Mets season that has become the shit show.
Well, I was trying to bring that up several episodes ago when Noah Syndergaard went on the DL. So it had been brought up on a radio program that his off-season workout really didn't involve a whole lot of baseball routines and did a lot of powerlifting, and people were pointing the fingers at him not being properly integrated in doing baseball strength-related exercises, into him overthrowing and possibly and tearing his shoulder muscle. So now the Mets have some other players on the DL and some more articles that are being written about just how disorganized the Mets organization is. Their COO, I can't remember his name right now. We'll look that up real quick. But basically, the guy in charge is meddling in every single little thing that goes on in the Mets organization. They have a team doctor, and they got all these fancy people with big long resumes on their medical staff, so to speak. But it's not necessarily like dedicated staff to strength and conditioning. Like the strength and conditioning coach seems to be more into the season work rather than the off-season work. So it just seems like the Mets could really use a good hard look at their organizational structure and the focus they put on strength and conditioning.
Yeah, they. there, there's a video or whatnot of the main strength and conditioning coach when Cespedes
Cespedes
was
is the
lifting
other
like
guy,
990 pounds, using a device that moderates your blood flow during exercise. Mets strength and conditioning coordinator Mike Barwas was like, "Come on, Vin Diesel," encouraging him to do this. They were encouraging Syndergaard. I know Men's Fitness did a headline on Noah Syndergaard that he added 17 pounds of muscle and he's stronger than ever. And I think he took that Thor persona and ran with it and didn't do what was needed. And they are not. I mean,
Look, he wants to be a starting pitcher who can throw 100. But Noah and Ryans do not grow on trees, so.
well, Justin Verlander can do that, and he can do that in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
It's to know when to pull that out of your arsenal. I feel like most of your pitchers these days can get into the upper 90s if need be. If they're in that, they've got a runner on second and third, 2 outs, and the count's 1 and 2, and they're just trying to put something away. Surprise them by, instead of throwing an 87 to a 91 mile an hour fastball,
Right.
hit it at 96.
No, I agree. But he does it much more consistently. It just seems like, some stuff to look at in general. Disorganization, starting all the way at the top with Jeff Wilpon and going all the way down to the players. Not having like coordinated off-season workout plans and stuff.
Well, yeah, and the ESPN that wrote the article that I was found all this stuff and found it interesting. They were talking about how they need to kind of look into things and see if the right people are visiting players in the off season, if they're going to the right rehab centers, whether it's just not coordinating, if they're just kind of letting them do whatever they want to. And I can see where that could be a huge problem. Going back to earlier, about 5 years ago, I knew somebody that worked really closely with baseball players who were, doing the Tommy John rehab. And for some of the players, it was really, really hard to get them to engage in, workouts that they felt were necessary to get back to the game because they were so used to a certain workload and a certain work type deal that landed them there initially.
Yeah, rehab is long and rehab is annoying and rehab can be painful. So,
But as long as
It's
you do
not-
it right, you got a
You
good shot of going back.
should be able to come back in 12 to 15 months. Yeah, well, we were talking about the Mets. Mets are kind of at the bottom of their division along with the Phillies. I guess the Braves actually, and the Mets are all down there. But yeah, we're going to transition over to the power rankings. So they're kind of falling, 16 and 20 record the other day.
Yeah, so definitely getting into the power rankings this week.
Well, think about who's at the bottom is who the Rangers have been facing lately: Oakland A's and the Padres, and the Phillies now. So yeah, the Rangers have definitely been benefiting from an easy schedule the last few days.
But yeah, in the power rankings, dead last is the Padres. Oakland A's are at 24, 27 is the Phillies. So, I mean,
Yeah.
when you have, I am so sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Texas allergies are just fucking with me today.
Hey, but you know who's been rising in the power rankings is the Rangers and the Royals. So both of those teams have veteran lineups. I feel like they have a lot of talent, and they were underperforming. Royals have gone 6-1 in their last 7 games. They're rising in the power rankings, and the Rangers have gotten all the way up to 500. Actually above 500. Looks like they'll be 2 games above 500.
But let's definitely
when
not
this ends.
miss who took over number 1 today this week.
Yeah. The Houston Astros are by far the best record in the AL.
They are probably the best record in Major League.
They are. I mean, it's pretty darn close with the Washington Nationals. Only a few wins ahead of the Nationals and Rockies. But they're good 4 to 5, 6 games ahead of the Yankees, who are fighting with the Orioles in the AL East. Then you got to go all the way down to the Red Sox. There's really no incredible teams in the AL other then the Yankees, Orioles, and then way up top is the Houston Astros.
Yeah, Colorado Rockies are hanging out there in third. They went up from 6-3. The Yankees got kicked out of that third place spot. So definitely the Rockies are making some noise. They're sticking around, which a lot of people didn't think was going to happen. The Cardinals are on the rise as well. They're up 3 spots there. They just broke into the top 10 last week, and now they're in the 6th spot on the power rankings. Looks like the Dodgers are finally starting to find a groove. I'm surprised Milwaukee is still hanging out in number 8.
Yeah.
I figured they would be at least in the top 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they must be not taken seriously. I mean, power rankings are power rankings. It's not the record, which is most important. But looking at the standings real quick, the National League in interleague play has actually been losing pretty poorly. I think I heard something like 30 and 20 or 34 and 18. AL has been winning those interleague games. But if you look at the standings, your good teams, like we just mentioned the AL, all you have is the Astros, Yankees. You have the AL East, there's 3 teams up top. Then you have a bunch of 500 teams, and then you have the Astros way above. Well, in the NL, you've got more like good teams going. Brewers have a good record. Cardinals have a good record. Cubs are climbing out above 500. Rockies are doing well. Diamondbacks are doing well. Dodgers are doing fine. Nationals are doing real good. So you have more teams up top, and then a lot way down at the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely not. There's not a lot of
It seems
close
there's more,
races.
Yeah, it seems there's more competition, especially that NL Central, and there's more good teams like in the NL West. In the AL, it seems like you've got one division that's got competition, everything else, well, actually, two. But
pretty
the
much your-
Astros are just really running away with
Pretty much your
that.
NL Central and your AL Central are where the real moving and whatnot. In
Yeah,
the-
everybody's within 5 games of both of those.
Yeah. So that if you're definitely looking for some games, watch that. Definitely Thursday tonight. The Braves Blue Jays game will definitely be one that I'm going to keep a close eye on.
See what goes down.
Yeah, I'm sure that there'll be warnings handed out before the game even starts.
We know how we love that. So yeah, we're getting into the Astros. They've like Dallas Keuchel's dominant.
Oh, so
They're,
are you telling me, Corey, you want to talk about the AL West and how they?
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never.
Is that what you wanted to talk about?
well timed.
It's the AL West show now.
Yeah, we're gonna.
And they stay there.
The AL West. The
All they do
Houston
is win.
Astros and Rangers seem like
Astros
all they
and
can
Rangers.
do right now is put W's up on the board.
Just that last 20 games with them, we got basically 2 or 3 losses in the last 20 games combined for those teams.
I got money saying that Houston's going to be the first team to 30 wins, though. I'll bet you beer on the next podcast.
Didn't they already get to 30?
No, they're 29 and 12.
Okay,
We'll go ahead and ride that one.
They get
We'll
to
go ahead
30
and ride that
first. I'm not gonna bet you a big.
Yeah, the only ones that's closest would be the Yankees. They'd have to win 5 straight. Houston would have to lose 5 straight. Same with Washington.
No, the Rangers have won 8. Looks like 9 straight now. I think Matt Bush's closed them out, Phillies. So the Rangers have been on tear, but they have not caught Houston a single game in the standings, half a game maybe.
Yeah, and that's the
Because
thing.
Houston's been on this tear too.
Houston just will not stop winning.
Houston's tear went from good to great, and the Rangers' win streak took them from bottom of their division all the way up to 2nd place with a 2 games above 500 record. So
And that's the thing is, like, I was looking at it. The Rangers right now, they have the best starting ERA in the league. What is it, like a 3 point or 2.56 or something like that?
it seems a little low.
Or it's maybe like a 3.56, I think, maybe.
Well, for the team total, which includes a bullpen, it's 3.76, but that also includes Sam Dyson.
Yeah. No Dyson, no
So
more.
3. Well, let's just do some quick. Martin Perez 389. That's your worst.
Well, no,
Oh,
Nick
Martinez 5.
Nick Martinez is at like 5.76.
That's a 3 and a 4, but they don't have as many innings pitched. Griffin 3.1. Cole 3.0, he'll come back eventually. Yu Darvish, a beautiful 2.76, and Andrew Kashner, who I think has outperformed the Rangers front office wildest dreams. He got brought in on a 1-year contract. They're wishing he got maybe he can get locked in next year and perform this well. He's actually not. He's given up a lot of hits if you really dive into his stats, but he's not. He has the best average for any pitcher in the league with runners in scoring position. I think he's given up 1 in 22 or something, or 1 in 24. It's like a .038 average.
Right.
So he's given up a few hits, but he gets out of every single jam. The second best with runners in scoring position is Yu Darvish, .050. I think 4 out of 40 or whatever. It's like 1 out of 20 is the way it translates.
Well, and
2
I
out of
don't
40.
think pitching, as far as starting pitching, was really the issue.
Yeah, but there was a lot of shakiness.
There was. There
okay,
was.
you basically had you, and we thought Cole was going to be great, and he's been pretty good, but then he got injured. Then you had a lot of question marks.
Right, and it's worked out for him. And
Well,
outside
yeah.
outside of the bullpen, that's where the iffiness and the people who are really concerned about the longevity of this is that in that bullpen, and plus the bats weren't showing. It's
Yeah,
like
and
if you
the
look
bats still statistically are not that great,
right,
but they have come around lately. But I think, like, if we were looking at the first week and the beginning of the season, we're saying, okay, on paper, we've got Yu Darvish, we're not going to worry about him too much. He didn't go late in games, which he's done lately, which is great. We got Cole Hamels, who should be pretty good, but he's kind of getting old. And then we have all these question marks. We still don't have Tyson Ross, so he's a question mark because of an injury. Kashner was coming back off an injury or a disappointing season, so he's a big question mark. AJ Griffin had a good few games for the Rangers last year, especially early, and then a lot of home runs he gave up. So he's a big question mark. Martin Perez is a daily inning by inning question mark. He got through this game pretty well. I think he went 5 scoreless maybe.
yeah.
And then he gave 2. Gave up 2 in the
No,
fifth or the
he
sixth.
went 3 and I think 3 2/3.
This game today?
Yeah, because they
I thought they
scored.
were 1 in the 5th. Whatever, we'll look into
Yeah.
it later. But he was doing pretty good, and he gives up those 2 runs, and luckily it wasn't a huge blow-up inning, like 4 runs or 5 runs, which would really derail the Rangers potentially. So he got away with it with only a small fire. But, I mean, he's a walking question mark. So, basically, 3 to 4, plus Dave Martinez, 3 or 4 pitchers to the Rangers have outperformed what you expected. But I don't think they're truly that talented. When you look at those guys, we talked about Martin Perez like being a 5th starter in real life. So the numbers show that they're doing great, but on like the talent level makes you think that maybe that ERA is going to creep up throughout the year from those 3, 4, 5, and 6 starters that we've had. I mean, sure, Yu Darvish is doing his darnest to keep it down. I mean, he's been pitching great. So there's still some uncertainty whether or not like the numbers are truly reflective of how good we're going to be the rest of the year, or if we're just kind of getting lucky.
Right. And that's one thing, like going in with the win streak, if you're on the 8-game win streak, yes, you do have to look at who you're playing. You have to look at the caliber of talent that's on those teams. But if you look past that, they are going. It's definitely something that can be a confidence booster.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter who you beat to get your win streak going, because we desperately needed a win streak. We were sitting in the bottom of the cellar. It's a very, very, very disappointing start to the season. We felt like we had the better talent. The run differential was telling us that we potentially were a much better team than we were performing. So finally we've come around. When we talked preseason about 82 wins, that's basically a 500 team. Now we're that 500 team. So now that we can reset our season and go forward from this part, and we don't have to be a basement dweller anymore.
Right. Not to interrupt what we're talking about, but breaking news actually happened. Blue Jays suspends Kevin Pillar 2 games for using homophobic slur. I think they're trying
Blue
to
Jays suspend him?
Blue Jays suspending him. I think they're trying to get ahead of it
Self-policing.
and take
Fair.
take the action and see if they can't get that around MLB. That was definitely something. And also James Loney back in the bigs, 11-year veteran that got released. The Braves picked him up because looks like Freeman is headed to the DL for 8 weeks. He got hit in the hand last night, broke his wrist. But we'll get back into it with the Houston Astros and Rangers both there at the top of the AL West. Dallas Keuchel, though, 7 wins, no losses, 1.84 ERA.
His stuff has just been electric. He is hitting all his spots, and his pitches have lots of movement. Yeah, he's back up to Cy Young form.
Right, and that leads, with the next deal. I'm just looking at it here. Over their whole pitching staff, they have a 3.41 ERA, but they also have a 276 batting average. Looking here at the Rangers, their
You want that
their batting average is only separating 234.
Yeah, but it's 13th. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, 273 to 234
Is
on
the
your batting
276
average.
or the 273? That's I think I'd have to change pages here, but it's probably number 1 in the AL, right? Or number 2?
I believe so. Yes.
So I mean, the Rangers is 13th, and see, I don't really want to look at batting average because I want to look at on base percentage and slugging. So we're at least much closer, almost middle of the pack in slugging, 10th out of 15, and on base percentage. So we're actually getting on base a little bit. OPS is okay. But yeah, like for the whole season, bats have been pretty questionable. But there are a few people who are coming around.
So moving forward though with the
Yeah.
conversation, do you think for Rangers fans, realistically, they need to look at we've got to get the wild card?
I mean, it's going to be a hell of a time catching the Astros.
That's what I've been sitting.
I
here.
mean, they might be on the pace for 99 wins or something.
I'm kind of looking here at this at this, and it just seems there's no end to this Astros. I think it's going to take a lot for something to happen with the Astros before
They
go away.
Who have they been playing lately? I mean, they were playing the Marlins. The Marlins are a great team. Whoever else they were beating up on.
I mean, they beat up on the Yankees.
Right, and the Yankees are a very good team. So they do at least have a still fairly challenging schedule going forward. I know they're playing the Tigers, the Astros are playing them, and then the Rangers are playing them. And
Since the start of May, they played the Rangers, the Angels, the Braves, the Yankees, Miami. They have a rest day today, and then tomorrow they start their Cleveland,
Cleveland,
Detroit, Baltimore, and
Baltimore.
then Minnesota.
So I mean, those are some pretty good teams.
I mean,
If they just keep crushing, if they just keep cruising through that schedule,
I think if they get through Baltimore, I think if
Right, yeah,
if they
Baltimore's
if they
tough
win
still.
every series on there and they get through Baltimore with
Yeah.
either 2 wins or a sweep, then you don't even.
okay,
I wouldn't even consider the Rangers.
we're
being able
talking
to-
about a 7-8 game lead. It's very, very early. You know, all it takes is making 1 to 2 games progress each month.
What was it about 3 years ago that the Rangers had that
Oh.
big lead and they fucked it?
Well, no, they also came back on the Astros. I think the Astros had 7-8 game lead in August or September.
Right.
And they got Cole Hamels and they got on fire. So yeah, anything is possible for the changes. I think what to look for is, do they slip up a little bit more against their good the schedule coming up? And the Rangers are playing a slightly weaker schedule. They don't have Baltimore in the next week or so. So if the Rangers can make up just a little bit of progress each time.
Right. They got Detroit tomorrow night, 6:10 start here, playing at
We've
Comerica.
played 3 against the Phillies now.
They played.
We already beat-
We finished the 3.
Swept Phillies.
So
yeah, love
yeah,
it.
they swept the Phillies.
Swept the A's, swept the Phillies, beat the Padres. No, it was good. Speaking of that A's game, yeah, no, it was. So the night before, so what really got the win streak going was Napoli had a walk-off home run against the Padres. Can't remember if that was at home. I think
It was at home, yes.
Yeah. So they had already come back at home. They got the bats going. They tied the game in the 9th, and then Napoli hit a 3-run home run. So I got real excited and wanted to go see a Rangers game because of that. So I did. Me and my girlfriend went Friday night. It was kind of boring at first, but it was real good weather, good times. we got late in the game. It was close. I think that was Kashner pitching that game too. And then the bats got going in the ninth. Lucroy got on, maybe somebody else too. So Napoli came up and having just hit the walk-off home run the night before, the place was rocking. Globe Life Park was alive, standing up, chanting Napoli, Napoli. So he gets a deep sac fly and he scores. He scores Lucroy, and then the next batter, it would have been a couple more batters because that was the whole conversation. Gallo was up and there was an empty base at first.
Right.
The
Put 'em
A's
on.
decided to pitch to him, and he crushed one right down the right field line. I'm sorry. Hit the foul pole, 3-run home run. They win the game 5-2. It was a beautiful ending. I had never gotten to see a major league walk-off win, so that was a treat for me.
Right.
It was real good, worth the money. Plus, there were fireworks after. Beautiful fireworks show.
Always a good fireworks show out at the Globe.
Yeah.
Definitely. So they hit the foul pole. Did you get your chicken?
So, written on the foul pole at Globe Life Park, it says, eat more foul, I
Yeah.
think it says. So, if they hit a foul pole home run, then you get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich if you show your ticket. So the next day, I go to Chick-fil-A, I bring in my phone with my ticket record, and that's how I got in, and they say, no, we gotta collect your paper tickets. They're excluding 30 to 40% of their fans.
So-
nobody needs a paper ticket anymore.
So Chick-fil-A excludes.
they don't want to give me my
They don't-
sandwich because I got in on my phone.
They probably thought you were either a gay or a Muslim. They exclude everyone, so now they're excluding the Rangers deal.
I really don't know what
Chick-fil-A.
I really don't know what to say to that.
Chick-fil-A, if you're
I love me some
listening,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, if you're listening, give the fucker a sandwich.
I mean, I
If
wasn't
it's good
gonna
enough-
fight real hard.
If it's good enough to get into the Rangers game, it should be
It's
good
good
enough
enough
for
for
you.
a sandwich, right?
You know, and if you
That
need
was
to,
exactly
if you need to
my thought.
write down the thing, come on, guys, that's a
Yeah,
real
they just
quick
want
way.
to
Dude,
record
I'm,
keeping,
gonna,
I
I'm
guess.
just gonna. I bet Chicken Express will honor it. I gotta go to Chicken Express.
You know, I think they would look at me funny.
No, just be like, hey, the people over at Christian Chicken, they
Chick-fil-A
mean to
doesn't want to
Christian.
give it to me. So how about you win
Yeah,
my business?
yeah. They're like
I
breaking
don't know.
what is it, the fourth commandment? Thou shalt not bear false witness. False witnessing about that chicken sandwich.
Who knows? We're just going to look over the last few games of the Rangers. So, Martin Perez, good game today, or okay game, and no blow-ups. The Rangers win 8-4. Last night, the Rangers win 9-0 or 9 to what? Oh, they gave up 2 or 3. 9-3. Cashner had 7 strong innings. The bats came alive. We had like 15 hits, 9 runs. So today the bats were alive once we got through 5 innings. So we were shut out before that. So it's good to see that coming around. Jared Hoying is filling in for our injured Carlos Gomez. He was 4 for 4 last night. I think he had a scoring RBI hit today. Yu Darvish was excellent a couple games ago. So the things are turning around. There's a lot of good things to see up and down the Rangers lineup. Some people who could still use improvement, like Rugi. I bet his bats will get going when he goes and visits Toronto in a few days, right?
Yes,
That's the hope.
that is always the hope. So yes, definitely Rangers are back on fire. Seems like nobody can put out the fire down in Houston, not even the humidity, and it's keeping things rolling alive. Texas baseball is a fun fucking thing to watch right now.
Yep.
So definitely looking for also Adrian Beltre news. Adrian Beltre feels like it could be 2 to 3 more weeks, and they're going to probably end up sending him down to extended spring training to
Maybe
get some
they
work
just-
in.
Does he need like a 10-day visit to the hospital?
He was
Like,
running on the grass though
Does he need to
2
go-
games ago.
yeah, and what did he do? Re-aggravate something?
I don't think he
Does
re-aggravated.
he need to go down to Mexico and visit some witch doctor who'll get him right?
Go find him a witch doctor or something, or maybe he'll find one out in Arizona on the reservation. Who knows?
Okay, apparently we don't need him. We're doing okay, but no, it would be great to in a couple weeks to have Tyson Ross all better, to have Gomez back, to have Beltre
The
back.
Gomez one's
to
what's
have
worrying me the
Hamels
most.
back.
The Gomez one is what's worrying me the most.
Really? I mean, it doesn't seem that serious.
I mean, it's 2 to 3 weeks is what you're saying, correct?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
2 to 3 weeks.
I
on
heard
your-
1 to 2 weeks underestimate.